Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Episode number 20 of Big Mouth Willie Bass Podcast Super Bowl Preview. I'm Ryan Willis.
And I'm Matt Willis.
I'm wearing my Rivers jersey, Matt.
And I can see that. It brings tears to my eyes.
He never did play in a Super Bowl, but man, I'm going to be wearing this on Sunday. Got to represent.
Colts Nation, baby.
Yeah. So, yes, folks, we will be doing a full-on preview of the big game, which is this Sunday, February 7th, between the Chiefs and the Bucks. So we're going to be just breaking down every little tidbit, every little matchup you can think of, so you know what to watch for on Sunday. And we will be joined, Matt, tonight by a very special guest.
Who's that, I wonder?
Scott Childs.
Yeah.
Good buddy. Probably one of the biggest supporters of the Big Mouth Willie Bass Podcast. This will be the first time that he will be joining us. Matter of fact, he just messaged me. Said he'll be on in a few, which is perfect because I didn't want to bring him on quite yet. But yeah, Scott will be joining us in a few minutes to break down this game. Scott's probably one of the biggest NFL fans we know, Matt, outside of you and I. So I'm sure he's definitely going to bring a lot to the discussion. So really looking forward to bringing him on. But before I forget, Matt, I wanted to mention that we are on Instagram now.
Oh, really?
I created an Instagram account for the Big Mouth Willie Bass Podcast. I've been putting it off. It's finally happening.
Well, I mean, we got to have some snapshots of us in it, right?
Yeah, well, I figured, I promote our Twitter page as much as I can anyway. I don't think we've gained a single follower on there in about 7 months or so. So maybe some of our viewers out there that do not have Twitter have an Instagram. So if you do, look us up. We are at Big Mouth Willie Bass. That's at Big Mouth Willie Bass. So not much different than the Twitter account because that's at Big Mouth Willie. So just add the Bass on there and you're good to go. Follow us. We will follow back. We'll get your follow count up as well. I definitely recommend following us because we're going to start doing giveaways. Matter of fact, we're going to do one tonight. But we're going to probably be doing some social media giveaways, Matt, in the near future. So I would definitely recommend following us on both Twitter and Instagram.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And what is that we're giving away tonight?
That's right. So our first ever giveaway, I figured, it's Super Bowl Sunday coming up. It's Super Bowl week, one of the biggest weeks of the year for you and I. So what not better time to do a little giveaway? So I am going to be giving away, well, we're both going to be giving away, I guess, a $25 Amazon gift card.
Yeah,
everyone. How do you have a chance to win this card? Well, you got to stay tuned. You got to watch the episode till the end, and then I'll let you know how you could possibly make that happen. And by the way, if you don't believe in Amazon or you don't have an Amazon Prime account, do not fret. I still got you covered. I'll explain more later. So yes, we will be doing a giveaway. Stay tuned for that. Do not fast forward. Stay tuned. Watch the episode in its entirety, and then we will get to the gift card details. All right? Sound good?
All we want is more community engagement.
Yeah, we need to get the view count up here. And also, of course, subscribe, please. Just full disclosure, if you're not subscribed to our channel, you have zero chance of winning that gift card. So hit that subscribe button right now. And as always, we welcome comments and give us a thumbs up.
Yeah, everything you said, thumbs up.
2 thumbs up if you can. Oh, wait, I don't think they allow that. Well, you can thumb up and then thumb down and then thumb back up. Or something like that.
Well, hey, 20 episodes so far, not a single dislike.
I think we're
doing something right.
Not even those pesky bots have disliked our videos yet, so that's a good sign.
I still miss the bots commenting, though. I mean, they haven't stopped by in a while,
I know. I'm trying to lure them back, but they haven't responded. We'll see. So, Matt, before we bring on Scott, I'm still waiting for him to show up here on the screen here in the waiting room. So while we have a few minutes here, I wanted to quickly tell a little story because this happened a couple years ago, and I can't help but now think about it every year when the Super Bowl comes around. A hilarious and embarrassing story that happened to me 2 years ago for Super Bowl 53, which was between the Lambs and the Patriots. A very forgettable Super Bowl, a game that the Patriots won 13-3, not much action. That was probably one of the most boring Super Bowls I've ever watched. But
Yeah.
I was invited to a Super Bowl party by a good buddy of mine named Sal, who I used to work with at Albertsons years ago. And it had been a long time since I had seen my buddy Sal or been to his house. It's been several years actually. So I drove over to his place, and when I pulled up, I see a group of like 5 or 6 Hispanic males just crowded around out front on the grass with beer bottles and cans just littered all over the place. Like literally, you couldn't even step anywhere on this property without kicking a can or a bottle. What's that?
Sounds like a fun time there.
Yeah. But anyway, I remember I pulled up and I was like, well, geez, this is weird. Like, I know Sal has had some pretty crazy parties that I've taken part in, but usually he doesn't allow his guests to just trash his property or his house like this. This is really out of character for him. And by the way, I also don't recognize any of these people. So I grabbed my 12-pack of beer, my 2 bags of chips. That was in one of those plastic bags. And I walk up and I immediately just get this I am not welcome vibe. Like these guys are just staring me down, giving me the death stare. The stink eye, bruh. And I immediately am like, geez, what is going on? Who are these guys? So anyway, I try to, put on a brave face and I'm like, hey, what's going on? And they just look at me like I have 2 heads or something. Don't even acknowledge me. And I'm like, okay, whatever, forget these guys. Walk right past them, open the front door, take a step inside, and I see 2 little kids, and I think like a teenager or a preteen on the couch there. And it took me a couple seconds, but finally a light bulb went off, Matt, and I realized I was at the wrong effing house.
Oh man, I wish I could say that we all been there, but I haven't.
Oh my goodness. So finally, one of the guys I think he was one of the older ones in the group, he was probably like, I don't know, late 50s, early 60s. He finally was just like, excuse me, what are you doing? And keep in mind, none of these guys spoke very good English. So they didn't really understand me too well. I didn't understand them all that great either. So immediately there was a miscommunication from the get-go. But I'm immediately thinking, oh my gosh, am I going to get my ass kicked right now? Because I'm just at some strange random person's house and all these guys are completely liquored up. Obviously, look at the ground here. So I immediately am just thinking, worst case scenario, what is going to happen here? So I, just profusely apologize to these guys. I'm like, guys, I am so sorry. I am at the wrong house. I thought I remembered how to get to my friend's house, but it's been a few years. I didn't use GPS like an idiot. I'm just a dumb gringo, man. And these guys just start rolling on the floor. They're falling over in laughter. They're just laughing hysterically. They just can't believe it. And probably also they were falling down because they were so liquored up. I mean, let's be honest, they were a little sloshed, but they just could not believe that this random white guy just walked up and pretty much walked into their house, not realizing, oh shit. So they're having a great time with it. I'm just like nervously laughing, like, yeah, okay, you're not gonna kill me, right? So anyway, the guy comes up to me, grabs the beer and the chips out of my hands, and I'm really like, okay, that's cool, man. Like, if you want to take my beer and chips, that's fine. Just please don't take my wallet or my phone or my keys, please. But he sets the stuff down, Matt, and he immediately hands me a beer, takes the top off the bottle, and hands me a Modelo, I think it was. He's like, have a beer with us, have a cerveza.
It was a grand old party.
So here I am just standing here at this random person's house with beer bottles galore, people I've never met. I thought they were going to kill me, but they offered me a beer and we just start talking for a few minutes and I'm drinking a beer with them. It was incredible. Like best case scenario by far. And again, they're just having a great time with me and they're asking me all kinds of questions like, where are you supposed to be? Like, what are you doing? I don't even know if these guys realized it was Super Bowl Sunday. I feel like they do this probably any given day. So they were asking me all kinds of questions. I was trying to explain to them. And again, I don't know if they fully understood. They just knew that I was at the wrong house and I was an idiot. So it turned out great. Anyway, while this is going on, my buddy Sal is calling me, like spamming me, like, where the hell are you? Because I literally got off the phone with him when I pulled up to this house saying that I was there. I was at his house. So like 10 or 15 minutes at this point have gone by, and I'm clearly not at his house. So he's probably wondering what the hell happened. So finally, I pick up my dude. I got a long story for you, a great story. I'll tell you in a few minutes. So I tell everybody I got to go. And they're like, hey, come on back later if you want. And I was like, yeah, come on over to the party I'm going at. It's not even my house or my party, but come on over. So they were really cool about it. I get in my car. I start driving off. I honk the horn and wave at them. And I just hear them all go, bye.
Yeah, you know. Yeah, that's the one way to make friends. Just drive up to a random stranger's house and just walk right in. Keys in the door, come on in.
As long as I had beer, I think that was kind of my ticket in. I had the beer, so they're like, okay, at least he's got beer. At least we can take that from him. But I even offered the beer to them. I was like, hey, do you guys want to take some of my beer? And they're like, no, man, look at the ground. We got plenty. We don't need any more. Oh, and that was
look at the landscape.
When I was done with the beer that they gave me, Matt, I remember I was like, so do you guys have a recycle bin or anywhere you want me to put this? They're like, dude, just throw it on the ground. I'm like, okay, clean. Fantastic. So anyway,
it wasn't your house at least.
That's my most memorable Super Bowl memory of all time for sure. The game was terrible that day. The party was even kind of a dud from what I remember. So that was the most exciting thing that happened that day for sure. So by the way, if you have a hysterical or embarrassing Super Bowl party story or just Super Bowl memory in general, drop it in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. All right, Matt, you ready to bring on Scott?
Hey, it sounds like you should stay at the house.
What's that?
It sounds like you should have stayed at that house, though.
Yeah, I think I would have had more fun if I would have just stayed there. No joke.
Yeah.
All right, you ready to bring on the Scotsman?
Yeah, I'm ready. Let's bring him.
All right. Well, let me see if this is even going to work. This is the first time, folks, that we're doing a three-way Zoom call. So bear with us. I have no idea how this is going to go. Zoom. All right, here we go. Let's see what happens here. It says join.
Lost connection.
Yeah. And the power went out. Oh, wait a minute. There he is.
Am I here?
You're on, buddy. How you doing, Scott?
Yeah. What's going on?
What's everybody doing tonight?
Great, man. Man, you got a black screen going on there? What's that all about?
That's my background.
Oh, wow.
Man, I'll have to edit that up.
I still can't see you guys.
Yeah.
The computer's still loading. Here we go. There we go.
See us?
Now I can see. I can see y'all.
Now, more importantly, can you hear us? Can you hear us?
Yes. I can hear you guys perfectly fine.
Okay. Let's hope that hope that holds the rest of the show here. So, folks, if you want to follow the Scotsman here, and again, he's a huge NFL fan, follow him on Twitter. He's very active on there at Scott Childrens. At Scott Childrens. Is that correct, Scott?
That's correct. Not my real last name, but it's close to it.
All righty. Well, let's just go ahead and dive into it, guys. I mean, I don't really have a format exactly to use here. I figured we'd just pretend that we're at my house with a beer in our hand and just start shooting the shit here. But just to kind of get the ball rolling, I guess. So obviously, guys, the main headline with this game is the fact that it is Tom Brady's 10th Super Bowl appearance. He is 6-3 in his career. He's going for ring number 7. And obviously, I think for most casual fans, guys, it's going to be looked at as, oh, it's Mahomes versus Brady. Maybe this is like the passing of the torch, if you will, if Mahomes wins this game, because Mahomes is already off to an incredible start in his career. So that's what most fans are going to look at. But us three guys, hardcore fans, we're going to really dig deep here and really talk about the matchups and the tidbits that everybody should be watching out for. So, Scott, go ahead and bat lead off for us. What do you got? I know you've been researching about this game all week.
Let's see. Where should I start?
Yeah. You got any
formula? Well, I mean, we're
Formula
looking
boy.
at the Formula Me boy. I mean, we're looking at like what the two best of supporting casts in the whole league between the Chiefs and the Bucks. Godwin, Evans, Hill, Kelsey, even supporting guys like Antonio Brown, McCall Hardman. This has a recipe of absolute shootout potentially. My favors, key matchups.
I'm just so thrown off by your background right now.
I can let's see, I'm stuck in the black void, huh? What if
No, you're good. You're good.
we're good? Is that better?
Oh, you are
This
in
is
a
Eric's
room.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not stuck in a black hole, surprisingly. So key matchups here, based on some analysis I found. I'm going to start off with Tampa Bay's wide receivers versus the Chiefs' defensive backs. And one thing I found was Rashard Breeland versus either Chris Godwin or Antonio Brown. So based off of numbers, if the Bucks offense wants to kind of eyes a matchup, pick Godwin or Brown on Breeland. And what I found was Breeland is the worst of the Kansas City cornerbacks with a 17% missed tackle rate and an average of 6 yards after the catch for completion. And conversely, if you look at Godwin and Antonio Brown, those guys are both those are the best Buccaneers wide receivers at yards after the catch per reception. So if they want to kind of get that little extra tidbit matchup or that little, just that one or two plays where they can kind of break that tackle, make a difference in the game. So that's something that you should look out for, I think.
Okay.
Now on the flip side, to kind of get these matchups going, Chiefs wide receivers versus Tampa defense. I saw a disparity between Travis Kelce. Now, normally what tight ends are going against linebackers, right? Usually kind of in the intermediate right away. Devin White for the Bucks, most vulnerable in pass coverage of their inside linebackers. Completion percentage allowed, yards per completion, per target, air yards per completion. And I don't even have to say Travis Kelce what he's about. He's like the number one, number two tight end. Put Kelce on Devin White in the pass game. So if the Chiefs want to take advantage of any matchups there, middle of the field, that's where it's at. So look out for that.
Matt, what do you think about what Scott just dropped on us there? Some straight knowledge.
I must say, Scott, an NFL team should hire you with that knowledge of yours. I mean, that's some big time sabermetrics right there.
Hire in the scouting department.
Yeah.
Self-promoting about Way Best Podcast, but
shameless
promotion.
Yeah.
Nothing shameless about our show.
yeah, nothing shameless at all. But I don't have any numbers in front of me, but what I think the bottom line is that both teams will be passing the ball for sure for the most part. I mean, they might run the ball a little bit here and there, like playoff football, as you can expect. But, both teams, they got weapons everywhere. So it's going to be coming down between Brady and Mahomes. And I think a lot of it will come down to, who will take care of the football better, If one of these quarterbacks makes a mistake, that could be the end of their season.
Yeah, but didn't Brady throw 3 picks in the NFC Championship game and he got away with it?
He did.
That is a good point.
He's the luckiest SOB on planet Earth.
But if Brady does that again against Mahomes, though, he will not be as lucky.
Yeah, you would think, right? Because Mahomes, especially when the pressure is on, Scott, I mean, this guy just thrives in the moment. I mean, look what he just did last year in the Super Bowl. The Chiefs were down 10 points in the fourth quarter, and all of a sudden, boom, 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 they took the lead just like that.
Speaking of pressure, that is literally, I was something looking at between Mahomes and Tom Brady this year against the blitz and versus against normal rush.
Oh, yeah.
I don't even really have to say the numbers, but blitzing against Mahomes just does not work.
He's number
It
one in the
does
league,
not
isn't
work.
he?
Yeah, he's number one in he's like 5th in completion percentage, um, 1st in yards per attempt, 1st in passer rating, and 1st if you blitz the Chiefs offense on average, they're 1st in the league in average yards gained, 8.4 yards gained. during
Yeah,
the
what I
blitz.
wrote down against the Blitz, Mahomes has a quarterback rating of over 130, 13 touchdowns, 0 picks. I mean, it really
It
doesn't get
doesn't
any
work.
better than that.
Because like I looked at the split versus like normal rush, like the numbers are better against the blitz. They get better.
Yeah.
So like
Case
if you're
in
the
point,
Bucks
man, the
defense, do
pressure's
you,
on
yeah,
literally. Like he doesn't have
it's
time to throw
literally
the ball, and he's a magician out there. It's unreal.
God. I even saw an interesting stat like um during blitz, if he is sacked on a blitz on average, they lose about 2.2 yards, which is like the 3rd fewest. So even if you do blitz them and do sack them, you're not getting many yards on the sack.
No.
So maybe pressure is the way to go if you can do it.
Yeah, it's a heck of a stat, man. And really, the number one thing that I put, guys, as far as what to look out for in this game, is the Chiefs' offensive line versus the Bucks' front seven. Because as we all know, Eric Fisher, their left tackle, their stud, he's out.
Yeah.
He tore his Achilles
Yeah,
in
he's
the
done.
AFC title game. So they're already down one of their best linemen, and the Bucks' front seven has been insanely good, especially in the postseason. I believe they sacked Rodgers 5 times in the NFC Championship game. And you got Shaq Barrett, who looks like the second coming of Von Miller right now. He's been incredible. You got JPP, Jason Pierre-Paul. I thought this guy was out of the league a couple years ago. He's
Yeah, wasn't
still
he? Yeah.
creating havoc. It's unbelievable.
God.
They have Ndamukong Suh too. I keep forgetting that he's on this team, and he's no
Donkey
slouch.
Kong Sue.
They got Devin White, a guy you mentioned, Scott, who is great at getting after the passer. I mean, they've got a great front seven. And I know what we're saying about Mahomes being great against the blitz. I mean, he's going to have to be against a unit like this.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Andy Reid, the dude's just some sort of, I don't know, genius.
Wizard.
He's a genius wizard, and I'm sure
And a
he's
fat
gonna
man's
be able
body.
He's a wizard in a fat man's body. He's going to have this
He's wearing a
offense
bad.
prepared. I mean, there may be stints where the Bucks defense maybe looks like they'll come up with a stop or two, but this Chiefs offense is just one word. It's inevitable.
Yeah.
I just don't see. I mean, they could get a few stops here and there, but overall, the Chiefs offense, they're going to get it when they want it. I can't bet against it.
Matt, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a high score for sure. But, I mean, Tampa Bay does have a lot of playmakers, especially on the front seven, as you guys mentioned. But, you know, if the Tampa Bay could somehow, get up early and force a turnover or two, I think Tampa Bay could have a chance in this, as they should.
You got to get one of them rare Chiefs turnovers. They don't turn them over, I don't think at all. I didn't look at any stats for that, but
I think Mahomes only had 6 picks on the year, and I think he had close to, I forget how many attempts, but I think he only had 6 picks all season.
got to get that
yeah,
fortuitous
Yeah, they'll be
pass.
needing one of them.
What's
But
that?
yeah, oh yeah, go ahead, Matt.
Oh, sorry, I think we all spoke at the same time, but no, they'll be needing at least 1 or 2 to win on Sunday for sure.
Yeah. Well, look, it's definitely going to be on the shoulders of Mahomes, guys, because unlike last year, I mean, I know the Chiefs didn't have a fantastic rushing attack necessarily last year, but it was still decent. Who was the guy they had last year? Was it Damian Williams, who of course decided to step away this year because of COVID concerns? I mean, he was honestly great in their Super Bowl run. He easily could have won the MVP of that game against the Niners.
I think a lot of people wanted him to.
Yeah, this year they of course drafted Clyde Edwards-Helaire, the rookie out of LSU, and to me he really didn't do a whole lot for me. I mean, I know he showed some splashes here and there, but he really underperformed, I would say. So more than ever, it's going to be on Mahomes because I just don't see how they're going to run against this Bucks defense. Matter of fact, I think I have it here. I believe the Bucks were number one in the league on defense against the run, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah,
And
I mean, they're Mahomes
yeah, I
is
saw
going to
some
have
about
to do
yards
it
per
all.
rush. Yeah, pretty good. What will be interesting is what the Bucks will do this time around against Tyreek Hill because he absolutely went Super Saiyan that
Yeah,
first game. What was it, 100 and I don't know, 50 yards or something, three
yeah.
touchdowns, something crazy like that. So you can't make the same mistake twice in this league. And it'll be interesting if they can temper Tyreek Hill. And I wonder if the Chiefs will have to look elsewhere to kind of get that maybe McCall Hardman or kind of a Robinson kind of guy to maybe fill those voids if Tyreek Hill's wrapped up.
Yeah, because you would have to think the Bucks are going to probably play 5 DBs at a time. Probably have
At least.
at least double coverage on
At least.
Tyreek Hill there. I mean, you got to have a safety shadowing him somewhere because if you're just going to leave him out on an island like what they pretty much did in the last matchup, I don't think you're going to see any different of a result there. I'm glad you mentioned that last matchup though, Scott, because I did have that written down that yes, these two teams did play each other back on November
Yeah.
29th in Tampa Bay, where they're playing in the Super Bowl.
Uh-huh.
And the Chiefs barely hung on 27-24. Remember, the Chiefs got off to a big lead in that game. It looked like they were going to blow them out. And Brady, like he always does, you can never put him away, made it much closer than it probably should have been. But yeah, Tyreek went bonkers in that game, as did Mahomes, especially in the first half. So it'll be really interesting to see what the Bucks possibly may have learned from that game. Because again, they made it close at the end. They made it competitive. So I feel like the Bucks should be able to make the proper adjustments. But how do you plan or game plan for this Chiefs attack? I mean, nobody's really been successful at it.
I mean, what do you do? Double Travis Kelce, double Tyreek Hill, and then play 7-man spy on Mahomes? you know, like
I don't know.
What do you do?
Plus, they have Le'Veon Bell. He's got some tread on the tires.
Lev Bell,
marijuana smoker.
He is. I don't remember. I think everybody smokes weed these days, except for me.
Yeah, probably.
most likely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, guys, I'm just really curious to see how that Chiefs O line is going to hold up. I understand that Mahomes is better when the pressure's on, but still, like if he has no time to throw the ball, that is going to come into play at some point in this game. So the Chiefs offensive line is going to have to step up. I don't think there's any way around that. And I'm going to be really curious to see how offensive coordinator Eric Bieniemy and Andy Reid collectively game plan. I mean, look, like we talked about, Andy Reid is a wizard. He comes up with some crazy plays, especially around the goal line. He's got 3 or 4 different guys running around at the same time before the snap. So I feel like Reid's going to come up with something. Probably a lot of screen plays. Maybe have some plays where Tyreek's in the backfield. I mean, there's definitely ways to get creative. So that's really what I'm going to be paying attention to. But what about the other side? I mean, Scott, you kind of touched on it a little bit in the open, but what about the Bucks O versus the Chiefs defense? Because I feel like Brady should be able to kind of pick apart that Kansas City secondary, should he not?
Well, what's the Chiefs defensive coordinator name again?
Spagnuolo.
Spagnuolo. Well, wasn't he with the Giants?
Yep.
Yeah.
During the Giants Super Bowls, right? When they beat the Patriots.
I'm pretty sure he was their DC in both of their Super Bowls that they won.
Yeah. So that's huge. So apparently that's Brady's kryptonite because the Chiefs defense, their philosophy, we're playing man coverage and we're going to blitz a lot. Blitz, man coverage. That's kind of the basic idea there. And I looked at some numbers as well. So Mahomes' numbers better against the blitz, but if you blitz Tom Brady, if you can get to him, his numbers do go down. 58 completion percentage, 28th. What was the other bad one? 87 rating, 25th. But some other numbers are okay. 7.2 yards per attempt, which is tied for 9th. And then the Bucks offense, they average 6.8 yards gained against the blitz, which is 9th best. So blitzing Bucks offense, it's all about getting in Tom Brady's face because he's not going to run away. If you get a guy there, I feel like pressure is always pressure versus sacks. My idea is I like pressure better than straight sacks. Sacks are great, minus yards, minus downs, but I think overall long term pressure is a lot better than sacks. And if you look at what the NFC title game, two of Brady's picks were kind of on pressure, and he just kind of right lofts it up to Mike Evans or someone, and then it's an inaccurate pass and you get that interception. And the Chiefs, I think, are more than capable of, I think, getting turnovers if they can get that pressure, because they do like to send their safeties on blitzes more than their cornerbacks, like Matthew and Sorensen. So I think and Spagnola, I think they can. I think Spagaroni. They have a chance, I think. Unless Tom Brady's learned from the previous two against the Giants. So we'll have to see.
Yeah, but I mean, who's going to be the guy, Scott, that gets the pressure on Brady? I mean, I know they have Chris Jones up the middle, who's probably their best overall defensive player, is he not? I mean, I know he does a great job
I think so.
of just kind of moving the middle of the line there. I think there's going to be a lot of pressure on him, honestly, in particular, because if he can get in Brady's face right up the gut there, I mean, that alone right there is going to go a long, long ways for the Chiefs to be able to contain Brady in that offense.
Yeah, if he's being double teamed or whatnot, I mean, they could try to somehow game plan to get Chris Jones one-on-one. I don't know how you do that. You probably have to have like certain looks, maybe even do false blitzes. I've seen game plans where like if you're trying to get your best defensive player one-on-one, you could have maybe a linebacker up at the line, and like the ball is snapped, he's running up, distracts an offensive lineman, but then he runs back in coverage.
Right.
And that lineman gets attracted to that linebacker blitz, but then you got maybe your Chris Jones or Aaron Donald or whoever one-on-one with a guard or something. So the Chiefs could try doing stuff like that to get them one-on-one, and obviously coordinate those blitzes perfectly to try to get to Brady.
Like you said, the name of the game is to just get pressure. If you get pressure on old Brady, he usually crumbles under that pressure. Unlike Mahomes.
Unlike Mahomes, because he can run out of there.
Matt, what do you think?
Brady
versus Chiefs defense.
Well, I mean, I think it's kind of I kind of had an insight for it, but I think that what Tampa Bay should do is just play ball control. I mean, I don't know if they can do that or not if they start trailing, but if they get the ball first, I would say just instead of taking shots downfield, just try to get those 5, 4, 6 yards and just kind of methodically move chains rather than just get the deep shots. You want to keep the ball away from Mahomes, because I feel like if it just started to become Brady versus Mahomes, I think the young guy would probably win that battle. So, if that's usually been the Brady philosophy anyway, is just, the short passes and, just methodically move the ball. And I think that's what they need to do in this game.
Yeah, and of course, Brady also likes to have a run game as well. So we'll have to see how effective Leonard Fournette and Ronald Jones are, because that's a pretty good 1-2 punch when both those guys are going.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Are you ready for some Super Bowl predictions?
Oh, yeah.
Predictions.
All right. Scott, since you're our guest, who you got? Final score.
I'm leaning towards Kansas City, but the Bucks having experienced the Chiefs firsthand a few weeks ago. I feel like no matter what I choose, I'm going to be wrong. I'm going to go with Kansas City, 37-31.
Ooh, that's definitely high scoring.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Matt.
It's hard to bet against the formula, but I think all reason should point towards Kansas City winning this game, because I mean they're the defending champs and they obviously earned that title and they romp through the regular season again and the postseason. But, however, I'm riding Tampa Bay hype train all season and all postseason when nobody thought they were going to win. And I've been picking them. And guess what? I can't go against them. I'm picking the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to close it off.
The Tampa Bay Bradyes.
Nice. The Tampa Bay Brady's.
Brady's going to get number 7.
I want to do
what's your score
here? You know, I'm going to go with the Bucks mostly because I've been wrong, I think, with just about every prediction. I mean, seriously, Matt, have I gotten a pick right? I think I may have gotten 1 or 2 right in the divisional round, but I'm pretty sure I was wrong on both of the championship games, the conference championship games. So I'm going to pick the Bucks mainly because Brady, like I mentioned, is just the luckiest son of a gun on the planet, man. The guy always gets the breaks unless he's playing the Giants. I know he did also lose to the Eagles a few years ago in the Super Bowl. So, yes, he can be had. But I'm worried about the Chiefs, man. I really am. What is this popping up? A gift from Zoom? We've removed
Zoom.
time limit.
Zoom.
Okay.
Something about something.
They better not shut us down. But I'm just really concerned again about the Chiefs' offensive line. And then I'm also just really concerned about the Chiefs' defense because the Chiefs' defense, let's be honest, is not great. They're not spectacular. I just feel like Brady's going to pick them apart. They're going to take their time. They're going to milk the clock. They might even have the running game going for them. And I feel like Mahomes might actually make a couple mistakes this time around. We'll see. I know he doesn't seem human most of the time. But, yeah, I'm going to have to go with the Bucs. I'm going to say it's going to be a slightly lower scoring game than maybe most people think. Bucs 27, Chiefs 23. So almost an identical score from their last matchup. So that's what I'm going to go with. I should be wrong though, because I usually blow these picks.
I'm usually.
I should also say my score as well. I've made the Bucs winning 31-27. So there you go.
27.
So all three of us seem to be in agreement. It's at least going to be a close game, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, of course. No 13-3 like we saw in Super Bowl 53. None of that garbage.
Please no.
No defense. All about the O, baby. All right.
I don't mind defense as long as there's defensive plays, like a pick six or something, you know?
Right. There's constant action, like turnovers and stuff like that. That's cool, but we love the O. Scott, before we let you go, we want to quickly bring up the Matt Stafford trade that took place.
Yes.
I mentioned this to you that we were going to bring it up. So the Lions, they traded Matt Stafford, their franchise quarterback, to the LA Lambs for 2 first-round picks and a third-round pick in this coming year's draft. And, of course, the Lions also got Jared Goff. So they swapped the old quarterbacks. The Lions get an abundance of picks. Your thoughts, Scott, on the deal? You like it? For Detroit, better? The Rams? What are your thoughts?
It's tough because, Detroit, they got some valuable picks there. But I like the Rams situation because a lot of people, I think, are kind of dogging on Matthew Stafford. Like, oh, he's not that good. He was only good with, Megatron or whatever. But, Matthew Stafford can lead a team to a Super Bowl. I think if he just has the right team around him, like any quarterback needs, I think this is good for the Rams. Because they're going to eventually get over picks. They'll get picks back, down the road. But, Stafford's just going to be there to stay for, I don't know what, the next few years, you think, for something, whatever.
I think he's, 33?
Or did he already sign a deal? I think
he has 2 years left on his contract.
2 years.
There we go.
Yeah.
So I think if the Rams, if they can keep up their defense like they did last year, and keep adding to the weapons. You already got Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods, underrated receiving core, I think. With Sean McVay, brilliant offensive coordinator, head coach. I think this is good for the Rams. I think Stafford can get them to double-digit wins again next year, potentially. I mean, they could easily go 8-8 for all I know, but I think they can get to 11 wins, 12 wins, maybe make a deep run in the playoffs. But as for the Lions, I think it's wait and see what's going on there. I'm not exactly how that's going to play out. Hopefully, they can take advantage of those picks. We'll see what Jared Goff. But I'm liking the Rams situation.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm just happy for Stafford, man. I'm just glad that he got out of Detroit because I want to know if he is truly an elite quarterback, Scott, because I've always been under the impression that he's a very good quarterback and at times he can be great. And I know he's taken the Lions to the playoffs twice in his career, but I obviously feel like that organization as a whole really just restricted him and held him back. Kind of similar to Philip Rivers, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
I want to
Absolutely.
see what
Families.
Stafford can do in a great situation. And it doesn't really get much greater than this, right? I mean, Sean McVay is one of the great young offensive minds the game has right now. He's already been to a Super Bowl as a head coach. So I think this is the perfect situation. They've got a solid O-line. You mentioned Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp. They also have I believe, a rising star at the running back position in
Cam Akers.
So a lot going there, and the defense was top notch this past season. I mean, Aaron Donald, probably the best defensive player in all of football. Jalen Ramsey, best covered corner. The Rams have a lot going for them. So I personally don't have a problem with them giving up the first round picks because they haven't believed in first round picks for several years now. The last first round pick they had was Jared Goff, which was a few years ago. So I have no problem with it. The Lions, I like the deal for them because, yeah, they get a bunch of picks, but I think that Jared Goff is a decent quarterback. I mean, he just went to the Super Bowl 2 seasons ago. So I feel like with the right coaching staff, Jared Goff still could be a very solid quarterback. Now, I don't know how that's going to play on Detroit. And Matt Campbell's their head coach, and he is not an offensive mind. At least I don't think he is. It's more about ripping people's
knees off
with their mouths. But
fight them off, man.
I think it's worth the gamble for Detroit because, again, Goff has playoff experience. He's not terrible. I mean, he did have surgery on his thumb at the end of the season. He still gutted it out and played okay. So I don't hate the deal for really either side. Matt, your reaction to the trade?
Yeah, you guys took a lot of the points that I was thinking of, but I would say, in my opinion, I think the Rams probably did win this trade, to be honest with you, because as far as them giving up 2 first-round picks, I mean, they've been giving up first-round picks, like lottery tickets, and every year they make it to the play. Yeah. And every year they make it to the playoffs, other than last year, I believe they just missed it. But every year they're always in the playoffs. They always seem to be winning playoff games. So their philosophy is definitely not the textbook way of building a franchise up. But it is Los Angeles. They attract free agents well, and now they got their quarterback. And Matthew Stafford is for sure an upgrade over Jared Goff. I mean, I think that's pretty clear. In my opinion, I think the Lions probably lost this trade just because I feel like Jared Goff has almost plateaued the past couple of years. Like, he had that one really good year, and it's almost like teams have figured him out right now. And I think also he got bailed out last year pretty good just because of how talented the Rams are as a whole. I feel like almost the problem may have been gone to begin with. So I feel like Jared Goff going to Detroit, the Lions might be a team that only wins 2 or 3 games next year.
That'd be unfortunate.
Tell us there, bucko.
They could.
Well, like I hope for Detroit's sake that they actually turn it around, man. Like they're just one of those teams.
Yeah. Well, I do too.
You just hope and pray that eventually they figure it out, man. I know it doesn't look too good, but gosh, I really hope Detroit fans that you will turn it around sooner than later, and hopefully it's Jared Goff that's captaining the ship there. Because
there you go, Jared Goff saves the Lions.
Here's what they should do, though. They should still draft a quarterback, I think, but best case scenario, Goff returns to his 2018 season form, and now you can trade the young rookie the young quarterback you just drafted. Or if Goff doesn't work out, maybe he plays at least well enough to where you could trade him somewhere else and accumulate some picks. I mean, either way, I think there's some flexibility here for the Lions to hopefully improve their team in some way or another.
Yeah, they better hope so. I mean,
They're gonna be ripping people's kneecaps off.
well, I just think the problem is that, as I know, Dan Campbell, had the speech of the year in his introductory press conference, but he's not an offensive-minded head coach, and I feel like that's what Jared Goff needs. And also, maybe Scott, you can fill in for this, but I believe Anthony
Is
and will Anthony Lynn be the one that saves Jared Goff? I mean, that's kind of hard for me to say.
I mean, he's a run first minded coach, so being a former running back himself, we'll have to wait and see how that goes. He ain't Sean McVay, so
You don't seem too optimistic there, Scotty.
I mean, he could prove me wrong, but if you look at last, I mean, good thing he's not the coach, because I don't know what was going on with the Chargers last year in game situations. Clock management and decisions were just atrocious, but he won't be in charge of that. So hopefully Dan Campbell will not be as bad.
Yeah. Well, he does have a little bit of head coaching experience from when he was the Dolphins interim coach a few years ago. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's going to be real interesting. But yeah, back to the Rams. I like it. I think it's worth the gamble. Absolutely. I don't know why they wouldn't do it. I just thought it was funny how the Lions actually did Stafford a solid, because apparently there were other teams in the mix and they were offering more, but they still traded him to the Rams. So they were actually, I think, trying to help him out. It was almost like they were apologizing for giving him hardly any help for however many years he's been there, over 10 years now. Be like, we're really sorry that you've been getting kicked in the teeth every year, but here, let's ship you out west here to the Rams. They're ready for a Super Bowl run. So, like I said, perfect situation for Stafford, and we'll see what happens with those dreadful Detroit Lions.
Yeah.
Lions Browns Super Bowl next year. Let's
yeah. I'd sign up for that.
Hell yeah.
All right, guys. Well, before I end the show here, Matt, I wanted to mention what we were going to give away potentially on this week's episode.
Ooh.
So I want to know your Super Bowl prediction. You heard our 3 predictions here. Drop a comment below the score of the Super Bowl. What do you think the score is going to be? And, of course, who do you think is going to win? If you get it right, you will win a $25 Amazon gift card, courtesy of the
Big 2-5. Heck
God,
yeah.
I'm sorry, as our honorary guest, you cannot participate in the Amazon.
Oh. You'll never come back on the show now.
No, it's only fair. It's only fair.
We'll send you a bag of Big League Chew, though, for joining us.
Oh, they
Bag of Skittles.
Yeah,
Ooh,
so
Skittles.
drop a comment below what you think the score is going to be. Give us your prediction. If you're right, you'll win a $25 Amazon gift card. If you do not believe in Amazon, or you do not have an Amazon Prime account, we can figure it out. We can Venmo you or PayPal, whatever. So you will still win something, $25 worth of something, even if you're not on Amazon. So
Who doesn't have Amazon?
participate. I know, right? Well, you never know these days, man.
Jeff Bezos stepped down from his CEO position for nothing.
Right? That's true. That just happened. I don't know. I feel like some people just don't believe in Amazon. Like, oh, they're killing other companies. Well, yeah, that happens all the time.
Welcome to
That's America,
capitalism.
man.
Yeah, capitalism, man. So yes, and also I wanted to point out, make sure you pay attention, because I don't know how many people are going to participate in this, but make sure you check the comments before you leave your prediction, because if you predict the same score as someone else and it ends up being right, we're going to give the gift card to whoever said it first. So make sure your pick is original.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
All
Good
right,
thing.
guys,
Good thinking.
Scott, thank you again so much for joining us, man. This was a lot of fun.
Of
Again,
course.
follow him on Twitter at Scott Children's on Twitter, and follow us on Instagram, our new Instagram account at Big Mouth Willie Pass, and Twitter at Big Mouth Willie, even though I've been saying that for months and nobody ever pays attention. Until next time, I'm Ryan Willis.
And I'm Matt Willis. Thank you very much, Scott.
And I'm Scott Children's. Scott Childs, actually.
Later.